How do you become an undefeated pro boxer? Do you train for years? Do you have to be born with the insane talent? Or can you just buy a perfect record? This is Joe Fournier. A millionaire nightclub owner with a perfect 9-0 record. He sold the world with a crazy story about a guy who got rich and then decided to become a boxing champion just for fun. But while his 9-0 record is technically real, his entire career is one of the biggest marketing scams in sports history. Today, we are pulling back the curtain and exposing exactly how this millionaire faked a perfect boxing record. Not to win a title, but to build his number one asset, his own brand. Before he ever stepped in the ring, Joe Fournier was already rich, and he made sure everyone knew it. After an injury destroyed his dream of playing pro basketball, he started a fitness company that he sold for a ton of money. That cash was just the beginning of his next crazy plan, becoming the king of nightclubs. Fournier opened a chain of insane clubs called Fournier in places like London and Mykonos. These were playgrounds for the super rich, and he was the guy at the center of all of it. His Instagram was wild. Private jets, super yachts, and pictures with every celebrity you can imagine. He wasn't just a businessman, he was selling a fantasy lifestyle. But that wasn't enough. He needed something new. So in 2015, at an age when most boxers are literally retiring, Fournier announced he was turning pro. He signed with a company owned by his friend, the famous world champion David Haye. The story was perfect. A millionaire testing himself in the world's most brutal sport. The media called him the billionaire boxer, which wasn't even true, but it sounded great, and that's how the myth was born. From the outside, Fournier looked like an absolute monster. He started fighting and just kept winning. Every single fight was a knockout. If you didn't know anything about boxing, you'd think he was the next big thing. But to the people who actually know the sport, something was very, very wrong. Red flag number one was where he was fighting. Most of his first fights were in the Dominican Republic. Beautiful country, but it's also known as a place to find opponents who are, let's just say, happy to lose. Red flag number two was that the entire boxing world was ignoring him. A guy who starts his career with 9 straight knockouts should be making huge waves. But when you mention Fournier's name, you either get silence or people laughing. It was too perfect. It felt less like a real sports journey and more like a movie where the hero is guaranteed to win from the start. People start asking, who is this guy? And more importantly, who is he actually fighting? And this is where the entire scam falls apart. A boxer is only as good as his opponents. And when you look at who Joe Fournier fought to get his 9-0 record, you don't find champions. You find guys who are professionals at losing. In 2017, he beat a fighter named Wilmer Mayan for a tiny belt. And this victory somehow got him an official 11 world ranking from the WBA. The entire boxing world was mocking him. He could now call himself a champion and hold up a belt, making the whole thing look real. It was like he paid for a video game where he could never lose. The scam wasn't a secret, it was just hidden behind glamorous Instagram posts. So how did he pull all this off? It's simple. Money. Joe Fournier's best weapon was never a punch, it was his bank account. He didn't think like an athlete, he thought like a marketer. The 9-0 record wasn't the goal, it was just advertisement. When you have millions of dollars, you can control everything. You can pay for the opponents, you can pay for the venues, and you can even pay to have a minor title fight in another country. Every single win was an investment that gave him more fame, more headlines, and more followers. Being friends with a legend like David Haye made the whole thing look legit. Fournier knew that day what people think is true is more important than what is true. The headline millionaire boxer is 9-0 is way more powerful than the tiny print explaining who he beat. And you want proof? In 2021, Fournier fought his friend David Haye in an exhibition match.
If you were to compare us, he's a Corvette, brutal power, fast, can only go in one direction. and I see myself as a Rolls Royce. A little bit more.
He got destroyed. It proved what everyone suspected. There's a huge difference between a fake record and a real fight. For years, Fournier controlled his own little world, but in 2023, he made a huge mistake. He stepped into the real world to fight the biggest influencer boxer on the planet, KSI. This was on a massive stage with millions of people watching. This was his chance to prove it was all real. From the first second, you could tell this was a real fight. In the second round, boom! KSI rocked him with a massive punch. As Fournier stumbled, KSI moved in and landed what everyone thought was the knockout blow. The undefeated record, gone. However, replays showed that the last shot wasn't a punch at all. It was a completely illegal blow to the jaw. So his team appealed and the fight was overturned to a no contest. So even though he was still technically undefeated, the damage was done. For the first time, millions of people saw him in a real fight, and they saw a 40-year-old get taken out by a YouTuber's foul. The mystique was shattered. The fight exposed the massive gap between his perfect record and his real skill, proving the billionaire boxer was just another celebrity stunt. So what is Joe Fournier? Is he a total con artist who scammed an entire sport? Or is he a marketing genius who just played the game better than anyone? Honestly, he's probably both. Look, his 9-0 professional record is completely fake. It was built by fighting guys who were paid to lose, and it was a slap in the face to real fighters who actually sacrificed for their careers. However, from a business perspective, it was absolutely genius. The undefeated boxer character made him famous and opened up huge opportunities. He used the world of boxing to build his real company, the Joe Fournier brand. He sold a story and people bought it. He proved that in the age of social media, looking successful is just as good as being successful. He didn't cheat to win. He cheated to get attention. And in the game of getting attention, he scored a 100% knockout. So I want to know what you think. Was this a genius marketing plan or a total scam that disrespected boxing? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.